Hi, it's Dr. Leon Massage from the Body Metabolism Institute, and today I want to talk to you about diet myths, fantasies and facts. So let's look at the low glycemic index diet and specifically what's potentially wrong with relying just on glycemic index. Now, the low GI diet is a popular diet, and the diet focuses on how the body responds to eating carbohydrates of different glycemic index. Now, used correctly, this form of dieting can be highly effective. However, there's a trap. Relying just on glycemic index values is just not quite enough. And that's because GI is usually poorly understood by many of the people who use it. And sadly, this can result in several problems. One of these problems is the restriction of the intake of certain healthy carbohydrates, ones that are essential for your health and wellness, and substituting them with what end up being really poor quality carbohydrates whose GI has been artificially lowered. It's important to understand that the GI or glycemic index is only a number. The much more important issue is glycemic load, and again, this is a little bit more complex and poorly understood. There are some foods, and beetroot is a classic example, that many people who are on a low GI diet tend to avoid. Why? Because it seems to have a moderately high glycemic index. As a matter of fact, this sort of food can be very freely eaten. Why? Because what really counts is the glycemic load. This is something I go into in great detail when I talk in my module about carbohydrates and glycemic index. What happens, of course, is the followers of this sort of regime tend to eat food that's not really as good or as healthy as they really think it is, especially when they judge it purely by the value of the glycemic index. There are several ways that the glycemic index can be manipulated. GI can be modified by mixing carbohydrates with fats. Most people don't realise that when you add fat to a carbohydrate, this paradoxically decreases the glycemic index of that food combination. This then creates the impression that the food that's being eaten is healthy because the GI is lower. In fact, the opposite is the truth. This food, the combination of the fat and the carbohydrate, has become a much less healthy and much more fattening food. But sadly, many manufacturers and advertisers tend to entice people to buy their product by artificially lowering the GI and advertising this by adding fats to it. And this tends to be a common cause of weight gain. Unfortunately, it also has a major negative impact on your metabolism and on your health potentially if you tend to fall into this trap of eating many more fats, believing that this is actually a low GI food that's healthy for you. So I hope this video has been helpful and useful to you. For even more information and for more advanced techniques of dealing with your diet and your weight, and for immediate access to my weight loss program, don't hesitate to click on the Get Started button on this page. So for now, this is Dr. Leon Massage, wishing you great success in your weight loss journey. Hope to speak to you soon, and goodbye for now.